like to tell a little story, something that came up in the last couple of weeks. My daughter is in or registered for AP history class, and she walked up to me and she said, you know, I'm really very disturbed about something, Mom, and you know, I'm having trouble sleeping. I'm reading this book and it's really bothering me. And so I said, well, what is it? And she showed me the book, and there's 2 books assigned for the summer reading before AP starts. And I started reading some parts of it, and I became disturbed at the graphic depiction of, you know, slaughtering people and really kind of horrific acts being described. The history that was portrayed here was a kind of an anti-military, anti-American history, and I thought, wow, I'm disturbed. So I did go ahead and look up the author, and when you talk about, you know, fully vetting and looking into what the children are being taught and being concerned about that, I think that's important. I think those are great points, and I think we need to talk about that more. Because it turns out, when I looked up the author, this is Howard Zinn, and we talk about, you know, an author being credible. And, you know, when I started asking lots of people out there, historians, well, what do you think about this author? I got nothing but very, very negative about the author. And so I would invite people to go look this up. I have indicated that I will not require my daughter to read this kind of a book that's anti everything that we believe in. So I just want to say this to you.
Forcing our kids
I believe
to read
I believe that as educators, parents, and citizens of Springboro, we have difficulties in our school system that we face today. Kids are adrift. Many students don't know what they believe or even why they believe when it comes to true critical thought. While some of that is expected as they develop, the intent of my time here on the school board has been to get more parents and citizens motivated. I'll wait till you're all gone, that's fine. This is important to talk to parents who are interested in helping children's education. So if you're not, that's fine. Thank you. Parents, I believe that while you will support most of what your children are taught, you may not be aware of a lot of it. We have over the last 2 years gotten letters from parents, and some standing at the podium, telling us that they object to what their children are being taught. We have, I'm suggesting that the more of you that know the curriculum better, the more you might be able to become involved in that. I've been very saddened that teaching both sides to children has sparked so much criticism. It seems a no-brainer to me. Required reading from an author well known to be anti-American, anti-capitalism, anti-military, and anti-faith only causes children to be confused on what to believe about their parents, their church, and their nation. They are spending their summer, for example, reading about how all of these are a hoax and untrustworthy. Their country, their parents, their church. I would even be confused if I were a student reading this book. I am worried because due to recent events, I am asking myself the question, what is it that we're really teaching our children? It is only by accident that my child came to me and told me about this kind of political propaganda that she was forced to read over the summer. I am worried because 50 to 60 years, the main disciplinary action of students was being sent to the principal's office for chewing gum or spitting spit wads. Today, in our present culture, we have to be concerned about children bringing weapons to schools and the possibility of school shootings. Children are adrift. When even the founding documents have been sterilized of their intent and references to faith, I have to suggest that we lead the children to be adrift. While the state law was meant to preserve this content, we are being forced to abandon it. Dr. Yuri Tuvim, a research engineer from Massachusetts, a former Soviet citizen, reminds us that Americans have shrugged off most of their responsibility by letting Washington bureaucrats do it. But in doing so, we set ourselves up for a system that is less interested in getting the job done than in perpetuating itself. That is what we have done to education. We have let someone else drive this ship. This is a different day, and we need your input. I hope that very soon I hear from citizens and groups, And I hope that we get a chance to have citizen groups and parent groups that help us determine what these Springboro students should be reading, both required and elected offerings. Our district should reflect community philosophy. Help us get that done for these most precious children. Don't sit on the sidelines, get involved and help stabilize the foundations for these children. Don't believe me, just read what your children are reading, look over the curriculum that is sent home and that they're reading, see if that fits your family philosophy, and over the next few months I would really like to get some citizen groups, some parent groups together, and maybe we can start reviewing some of the literature. Again, the literature that's required and the literature that's offered through our libraries, and make sure that what is there matches the philosophy of the district. And that's what we're trying to do. That's why we open things up to first reading, so that we get that community input. So we appreciate it. We're taking it back to policy. We're using the contents of what we got from a variety of sources and resources from across the country, which was very helpful to what we wanted to do here in Springboro. But I need to hear more from the parents. If you're content with it, then that's fine. Then you come in and read the books or read the content and see what you think. But in my family, I think we have a philosophy, and I don't think being anti-military is a part of what we should be teaching. Thank you.